Shh. Did you hear that? My attention was brought toward the basement door for one moment. I stood in silence, closing my eyes to listen as closely as I could for the noise I heard. Joe wasn't as patient as I was. Imagine that. Hear what? I didn't hear shit. Almost on cue, the noise appeared again. The sound of something dragging. Joe's eyes became as wide as his mouth as he began to back away from the basement door in fear. What the fuck was that? He cried. I placed my index finger over my lips and proceeded to tell him to be quiet. I saw Joe gulp his fear down his throat, but for some strange reason, the fear was overshadowed by my willingness to get to the bottom of what was going on. Against my better judgment and Joe's wishes, I opened the door to the basement. What the fuck are you doing? Let's get out of here. His plea fell on deaf ears. Look, if you want to leave, fine, but I'm going to go down there and see what is making that noise. It was probably nothing anyway. Nothing? Jesus Christ. We just watched a video of what looks like young me and some fucking creature in our basement. And then we hear some weird noise coming from the basement. And you want to tell me it's nothing. I just wanted him to calm down. Truth be told, I just wanted him to leave so I could be alone and not have to listen to his constant bitching. Leave if you want, but I'm going down there. Joe shook his head in disbelief. You're fucking crazy. I'm out of here. And that was that. I watched as Joe grabbed his coat and some belongings before leaving the house. Perhaps I should have done the same, but curiosity got the better of me. What's that saying about curiosity and the cat? Doesn't bode well for me, does it? I looked down to the bottom of the stairs leading to the basement, and nothing seemed out of place. Slowly I walked down the stairs, making sure to grab the railing with each step. Once I made it to the bottom, I flipped on the light at the end of the stairwell. I looked around for any type of movement until I saw a familiar picture that once hung below the window, which was now laying on the ground. With a sigh of relief, I walked towards the photo to hang it back up. While I was doing that, however, the dragging noise appeared again. I quickly jumped and turned to look behind me, but there was nothing. I looked at the empty black abyss that was the space under the stairs as I slowly walked toward it. It appeared to be a black hole, and the curiosity of its gravitational pull sucking me in. I grabbed my phone to turn on my flashlight again, but just as before, there was nothing under the stairs but dust and dead bugs. Another sigh of relief for that moment. I tugged my phone back into my pocket and went to head back upstairs. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw something move. It moved incredibly fast. As I turned my head, my eyes became wide in fear. I was staring at a familiar sight, the sight of the creature in the video. It was taller than I imagined, skinny, lanky, with arms that dangled across the cement. Its neck was long and skinny, but its head was small. Its face had a pair of two dark eyes, practically black, no nose, but a smile, if you could call it that, which was crooked to the left-hand side of his face. It stood there staring at me, as if I was its prey. The creature was letting off a horrendous odor that smelled like the mixture of rotten eggs and what I could only describe as roadkill. The creature bent down. I watched as its knees went above its shoulders in a crouched position, which seemed physically impossible. Then again, everything about this seemed impossible. The creature began to sniff around before crawling toward me slowly. Its eyes maintained focus on me, while it slowly crawled toward my stoic body. Its head was shaking back and forth uncontrollably as it crawled towards me. I had to make a move. I needed to make a move. Without hesitation, I bolted up the stairs and slammed the door behind me, I grabbed the box of tapes, the VCR, and left the home, not looking back. I threw the box of tapes in the front of my Ford Focus, left the driveway as fast as I could. I must have hit every red light on my way out of town. I refused to look back, fearing I'd see this creature. In a panic, I grabbed my phone and dialed Joe to talk to him, but his phone kept just ringing. "Hey, you've reached Joe. Please leave a message after the tone." God damn it, Joe. I hung up the phone and tossed it to the side as I thought about what to do next. With nearly 400 miles back to my home on campus, I had no other option but to rent a hotel room for the night. Pulling up to a Motel 8, I booked a room for the night and thought over everything that was in my head. Did I see what I thought I saw? Or was my mind playing tricks? How did that creature, that size, remain hidden while I was down there? I sat on the edge of the hotel bed, still in disbelief. I looked over at the box of videotapes and the VCR that I was able to get in a hurry. Looking back, wasting time with getting that fucking VCR was stupid, but there had to be more of this story. I was able to plug the VCR into the hotel television and went over everything in my head again. Should I watch this next tape? Should I go directly to the authorities? With a deep breath, I inserted the next tape and waited to see what would happen next. The video started out like the last one, only this time, there wasn't a boy strapped down into the bed. Instead, the two white-dressed individuals stood off to the side with a pad and a pen, jotting down something that I couldn't read. There was a jump cut, and my stomach began to turn. The camera was fixated on the creature, which was standing still against the cold cement wall of what looked like to be my basement. The creature's eyes were closed, and its mouth seemed to have disappeared. Its face was completely blank. Suddenly, the dark eyes opened, and the crooked smile appeared on this creature. It did not move, but it seemed to be awake. The two white-dressed individuals approached the creature and inserted a syringe into its elongated neck before the video cut. After another jump cut, the camera was pointed up the stairs towards the basement door. The door was closed, but not for long. The door opened, and I saw my father slowly walking down those stairs to the basement. He seemed to be in a trance, and his eyes weren't what I remembered. They were pitch black. The creature was eating. What it was eating, I am not entirely sure. It was slumped against the wall, picking up pieces of food with its long fingers and forcing it into its mouth. The creature turned its head 180 degrees like an owl and was looking directly at the camera. Static. I couldn't contain myself anymore. I got to my feet and headed to the bathroom, vomiting from what I just saw. The creature made me physically ill just by the way it looked and how abnormal it was. Leaning over the toilet, thoughts rushed through my head. What was this creature? Are there more like it? I flushed my vomit down the toilet and went to get some rest. Everything from that night wore me out, and I could decipher more from those videos tomorrow after a decent night's sleep. I awoke the next morning to the sound of someone knocking on the door of my hotel room. In a groggy daze, I opened the door to see nobody there. When I looked down, I nearly jumped backwards. Sitting on the ground was a single videotape. I gulped my fear down my throat, shaking from head to toe. I picked up the tape, looked around the hall of this floor, but saw no one. I closed my door and locked it, and I just sat on the edge of my bed. What was this tape? What was on it? Shit, I was too afraid to even find out. I had to talk myself into it, but fuck, I wish I didn't. I put the tape into the VCR and braced myself for the worst. What I saw sent chills down my spine. It was Joe. Not as a child, but as an adult, wearing the same clothes he was wearing last night. Behind him was the creature, resting both hands on his shoulders, standing tall, with its head out of the view of the camera. Joe's head was lowered, looking down at the ground below his feet. He seemed to be asleep or unaware of what was going on, but he was breathing. Both Joe and the creature stood completely still for what seemed like hours, with the creature's hand placed firmly on his shoulders, tightening the grip with every passing moment. I watched in horror as this creature then dragged its tongue across the cheek of Joe, before the video cut to static. The creature had Joe. The creature was still in that house. But that begs the question, who was filming it? Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. It took me a while to finally find part 2, but I found part 2 and the final part. So if you guys would like to hear the rest of this story and how the ending goes, make sure to let me know down in the comments. Also, if you have not seen the first part, I highly recommend you go watch that first. It's very wild. And I'm pretty sure that after I do all 3 parts, I'm most likely going to upload it as one giant story. So make sure to check out for that. Make sure to like, comment, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We're doing nothing but growing. I've got a lot more, and I promise you I do. Make sure to check out the links in the description like Twitter, Instagram, everything like that, if you want to keep an update on when the videos are coming out or what's up and coming, stuff like that. But with that being said, stay safe, stay scary, and I'll see you in the next one.